What are the plans to expand the infrastructure at university in the future?
It's been really good to get so many new developments on campus so quickly. And once 10 West is open and we have the psychology department and the Institute for Policy Research and the new doctoral commons in there, it'll be fantastic. And then, of course, civil engineering and architecture going into the other new building, which is a major development on campus, is fantastic. And that's really good to see. But what we need to then think about is what next needs to be done. And I really do believe that we need to be thinking, on campus at least, about new facilities for our scientists, and that would be a major priority as we go forward. We already have a commitment to build the Milner Centre for Evolutionary Science, and we've got planning permission to do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that start to go zooming ahead. So there will be continued development on campus, but one of the things that we need to do is make sure that that development is sympathetic to the environment and also really plays to the strengths of the university. And that's what we're really focused on for the future. The other thing I should say is that development off campus is going to be of tremendous importance to the university as well. I'm delighted to see the development in Manvers Street, which I will refrain from calling the old police station, and the sort of new facilities that we've got in the study centre there will just be state-of-the-art for people who want to access those facilities in the city. I think that sort of development for the university is inevitable as we go forward. We will move to being more present in the city in innovative ways, and I'm looking forward to that.
Is Bath going to move towards being a city university?
Oh, it'll stay a campus university in every respect. I don't think that that's what we're thinking about, but what we do know is that we need to take advantage of this wonderful heritage city that we have just down the hill. And there are so many ways in which we can do that. So we need to be thinking really creatively about that. I'll give you an example of one of the things that really seems to me to be important is the work that we do in innovation and the translation of the research that we do into things that create wealth and create jobs. There's a lot that we can do in collaboration with people in our local community that would allow us to take advantage of the city and to contribute to the city at the same time. That's really the way of the future for many universities.
Are there any plans to develop housing on campus?
There's been a lot of work to deal with the issue of improving our control over accommodation and the offer that we make to students at the university. I think that we've taken two broad approaches. One is to ensure that we carry on developing further accommodation on campus, and we will do that. Secondly, we need to look at what's available in the city and how far we can make sure that those places that are available in the city are really available for our students. There are an increasing number of students in the city that are not our students. So it becomes, to some extent, a question of making sure that our university works well with those providers of accommodation within the city so that our students get first shot at what's available. And that's what's been happening over the last few months.
Bath lacks many popular degree departments such as medicine or history. Are there plans to adopt these departments in the future?
It's a really interesting question, and the university goes through a regular review of what it needs to be doing, which areas it should be moving into, which disciplines are really important. And you will have seen that recently we've moved into the provision of astrophysics, which we never did before. We've moved into the provision of the biomedical sciences, which is a fantastic development within the university. And you'll notice that there is a sort of common characteristic in these developments that's been occurring. That is that we've looked to see what we've already got and where we've got really good quality and strength, and we bring them together to go into the new area. So it's this expansion from strength. So we will carry on developing the disciplines that we offer, developing the courses that we offer. What we probably won't do, because the Council of the University has examined this and has decided it's not the thing for this university to do, we won't, in the near future, jump into an area that we have no connections with.
What advice would you give young women aiming to break through the glass ceiling?
I think that one thing that I would say is that things have improved a lot in recent years. And that's a good thing, that's a good sign. And that means that change can occur. And to know that change can occur can be very important to anyone who's ambitious. The second thing that I would say is that if you don't try, you don't succeed. And I would always encourage anyone with ambition and determination to try their hardest. If you don't try, you cannot get anywhere. The university has policies that are designed to make sure that we improve the gender balance within committees, within the profile of the professoriate and so on. The sort of things that you would normally expect of a university. We do. And we are very dedicated in pursuing that sort of gender equality. I think that the things that we do beyond what we can control directly are as important, though. So I'll give you an example of that has mattered in the last year or so. The government decided that it would introduce postgraduate taught loans. When it first introduced this idea, the proposal was that they would only be available to people up to the age of 30. That actually is would have been an indirect discrimination against women who are much more likely to go back into higher education later than men are. So the availability of that sort of support would have been gendered. Now, one of the things that I personally did and other people around me did was to argue very strongly that that was a bad policy and should not be supported. And I was delighted when that policy was changed and there is no age limit.
Should the university challenge the government when the student body feels strongly about a certain issue?
I think that the university has to do two things. One is that we have to tell government or other powerful decision makers when what they are proposing seems to be wrong or based on inadequate evidence or just silly. We have an obligation as a university to be clear where we think things are wrong. That's one thing. The second thing that I think we have an obligation to do is to tell those people who have power when our student body feels that what they are doing is wrong. So I think that these two things they sound as though they're the same thing, but they're not. Because one is to give voice to a forensic analysis of what policy means, and the other is to say, and this is what it means to our students, and this is what they care about. And you need to understand that this is how our students are reacting. And I think that we have those two obligations within the university.
How is the university planning on expanding for postgraduates?
The first thing is to provide the right programs for postgraduate students. And I don't think that you can speak about doctoral students and postgraduate taught students, master's level students, in quite the same way, because they need different things, they need different support, they're here for different periods of time. And in both cases, we need to be conscious of what those students are actually looking for from their degree. And I think that we need to tailor the sort of experience they have here so that we can respond to those concerns that they have about what the degree delivers to them. So it's the first and most important thing for me is that we deliver the right degree in the right way. The ancillary concern is making sure that the accommodation is right while they're here and the infrastructure is right. And those things are very important as well, and they will be done as we go forward in a very considered way.
How is the university helping foreign students, particularly with the financial burden of their potentially costly housing deposits?
One of the things that we've been doing in that sort of situation is to try to make sure that we are in touch with the landlords who are likely to be offering accommodation so that they understand that our students are reliable, that they don't need to have so many concerns about our students.
If you had unlimited power, what's the one thing you would change in the University of Bath?
I'm just limited to one thing that I could change, am I? Well, if I had unlimited power, I think the one thing that I would do is to make the space constraints of the campus go away. So, you know, in sort of Terry Pratchett land, you can collapse through the work of pyramids, all sorts of spatial dimensions. I would like to do the reverse. I would like to ensure that we had infinite opportunity to develop what we really needed to develop for our students, for our researchers. That would be my ideal. Okay, that's a really honest answer, the last one. You know,
well, I was surprised when you brought Terry Pratchett into it.
Oh, sorry.
Bring in some follow-up questions.
Well, you like Terry Pratchett?
I like Pratchett, yeah. He's one of my favourite authors.
You know that he's an honorary graduate. Well, he was an honorary graduate of the university.
I did actually, yeah.
And did you know that I gave him his honorary degree?
I didn't know.
And do you know I gave him the wrong honorary degree? I did. I was supposed to give him a Doctor of Letters, and I gave him a Doctor of Science. And he said to me, he turned to me at that point, he got his funny hat on, you know how he did. And he said, does that mean I've got 2 degrees then now? And, you know, he was delighted, but I felt such a fool.
I think you should get a Doctor of Science anyway.
He should. Well, I think the thing was that he got one from somewhere else. So they wanted to give him something, the degree committee wanted to give him something that he hadn't already got. But I bungled it. So,
Too nervous.
I was quite nervous with him. He was a really fascinating man.